Who determines the price and the value of a property? A simple answer to that is obviously supply and demand in every single market, location, and so many little details. But ultimately, is you the buyer. So let me just give you a short story what happened to me a few weeks ago. So I have a seller client of mine, and he wants to sell a condo. So fine, no problem. So we sat down, and he's telling me, look, like my place is somewhere between $750,000 and $800,000. I said, okay, so let me just look into your building, your block, your community, and let me come up with the right answer and get you the most amount of money for your property. So when I looked at the MLS and when I looked at the actual heartbeat of his particular building and the condos that actually sold, I found out that condos like his sold for actual $600,000 to $625,000. So that's a significant decrease from $750,000 to $800,000. And I gave him a call. I said, okay, so
it's important to set the right price. Overpricing may seem like a good idea to test the market, but it can have serious consequences. Buyers may be scared off by the high price, causing your property to sit on the market longer. You could miss out on potential buyers who dismiss your property as out of their budget. When a property is overpriced, it may eventually need to be reduced, leading to a stigma of being stale. Your property may end up selling for less than if it were priced correctly from the start.
You know what? Why don't you guide me through the process and how you actually achieved this particular number between $750,000 and $800,000? So he said, hey, listen, it's not a problem. I purchased a building like this one, brand new. It was great. There was a lineup of buyers and whatnot. So I picked my unit and I wanted to make sure that I'm on a high floor. I said, well, I guess it's a good idea. So he said, yes, it's a great idea, but I had to pay premium for that. I said, okay, fair enough. So what else? He said, look, I also had to purchase a parking spot. So, okay, so fine. So he paid $100,000 for his parking spot and an additional $32,000 to be on a higher floor when purchasing a condo. I said, well, that's phenomenal, that's great. So basically, when the client ran down the calculation, he said, look, if the places are selling for $625,000 and then I add my parking spot that I paid for $100,000, and then I add another $30,000-$40,000 for the premium, the height floor premium, so I come up between $750,000 and $800,000. So then I stood there and I said, okay, so look, you are absolutely right, but it doesn't work like that. So now, please comment below if you agree or don't agree with my client kind of running the numbers the way he did. But looking forward, like sometimes some things don't work like that. Like you don't get particularly dollar for dollar what you invest in some of these buildings and some of these projects. So just because a parking lot, a value was valued at that time through a builder at $100,000, it might not be the same value today, number one. Point number two, you have to be careful when you're analyzing that particular property. One, you have to ask yourself, will you move into that property? Second, is this strictly an investment property? And third, obviously, is the location. Is the actual property located in a location where parking spot or a vehicle is extremely necessary, or it doesn't really apply? For example, if you're looking at downtown core, most of the condominiums don't have a parking spot, right? Because the transit system, subway system, and everything else works in that location favor, and these tenants do not need a vehicle or a parking spot. So when looking at that, it is extremely, extremely important for you to actually analyze that and ask yourself a simple question. Do I need a parking spot, and where's the value? Sometimes adding that $100,000 plus our locker that are charging somewhere between $15,000 to $25,000. So you're looking at a sum of $125,000. So you could bump your purchasing power into maybe a bigger unit, more square footage, better view, location, height of the building, etc. So just keep this in mind. And if you're running this particular topic in your head, what you should do, please give me a call. Please let me know what your concerns are and your thoughts, so I could maybe try to help you when it comes to this matter. Now, getting back here, so it is difficult at this point with my client just to kind of break that imagination. It's not a real imagination. It's a fact. That particular person purchased a parking spot for $100,000, and he purchased that floor height for $35,000, I believe, $1,000. So that's $135,000 added to the value of the unit. So now it is difficult to come up with the actual pricing for his parking spot. This is where the dilemma is. We know that a condo identical to his on a lower floor, not as good of a view, that sold a few weeks ago, sold for actually $6,000 and change, right? Now, how much is that parking lot valued at? So this is the concern. So when you're listing and when you're trying to list, a couple of things into consideration. As we mentioned, make sure you run these numbers down, and to add to another point, nothing with the parking spot sold in that building. So this is another factor that I have to evaluate at this point. Like, nothing sold, there's no historical figures that sold with the parking spot. So we will see what we will do at this point, but like I said in this video earlier, not everything that you buy at first has the same value down the road. So just keep this in mind. If you like this video, please comment, like, and share. Please comment all your concerns down below. I will reply to all of your comments, and let's try to find a solution together. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.